he hits the gas. We're going 100, 110, swerving, going through these cars, and he just stops. He turns his lights off, and that's it.
Okay, so you're couch surfing and you're whatever, you're jumping from, you're staying at this place for 2 weeks and that place for 2 weeks, and you're selling meth, but so we talked about like why did you were you trying to get clean the whole time, or?
At first, no. I mean, that was just a thing when I started. It's I want to say fun, exciting. You're going different places, you're meeting different people, and
You're the go-to guy.
Right, I'm the go-to guy, and that in itself is like, that's something that grabs you. At first, it was just to get by, make ends meet, make some money. And then it turns into people are calling you and they need you, and it makes you feel important.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I totally get that. Mm-hmm. It's a great feeling. Actually is. It's when you walk in and you're the person that can solve the problem, and you're the guy that,
Yeah.
No, trust me, I know. I mean, this is going to sound horrible. It's the same thing when I was committing fraud, and I was the guy that people could call and say, "Hey, I need this property to come in at 400,000, and here are the problems with it." And I was the guy that could come and go and be like, "Yeah, listen, I got you, bro. Here, give me the thing. I'll do this. I got the software. I'll take care of it. Bam, bam, bam. I'm done." Or, "Oh, you need a job. I got this. I got that." You walked in and everybody was like, "Hey, excuse me, Matt, can you? Sure, no problem. I got you, bro.
Right.
You're powerful. You're the go-to guy."
Right. And it feels good.
Right. So you're a drug dealer.
I'm a drug dealer.
Right. So what happens at that point?
I start.
Are you gonna drink any of that?
I did drink some of that.
My mom would be so upset that the spoon's in it.
Do you want some?
You're gonna poke your eye out.
You can have some.
Okay.
Would you like some?
I've been drinking it. You could tell because I reach over, like in the frame, they'll see me reaching over.
So after that, I'm going from place to place, and then I meet this guy named Richie. I'm seeing Richie for a very short amount of time.
You're Richie's drug dealer. You took advantage of Richie, didn't you?
I was Richie's drug dealer.
Listen. Oh, you don't have any money, Richie? Oh, okay. It's cash, ass,
or grass. No, yeah. So Richie, and I end up getting pregnant by Richie.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. He couldn't pay his bill.
So,
yeah. I get pregnant, and I lived with Richie for 2 months, and once I got pregnant, I moved back home with my dad.
Okay.
I still talk to Richie on and off for a little while, but he's psychotic, I want to say.
Right.
He's done.
So you talked to him. So at that time, because you don't talk to him now.
No,
right.
I haven't spoke to him in years.
Right. So how was that relationship?
It was crazy. He was hiding behind couches and in trees and breaking into my house, hiding in my attic. It was nuts. It's just nuts.
So you were still talking to him, but you're living at your dad's house. You're pregnant. Are you still on drugs, or you got off what?
In the beginning, I was, when I didn't know. When I moved back, I stopped, but I still sold drugs.
Right, and you were seeing. I mean, are you seeing Richie, or
I wasn't seeing.
Nuts?
No, he's just nuts. Like I just had to stop talking to him. He went to prison, so it wasn't.
Wasn't hard to stop talking to him?
No.
What do you go to prison for?
I don't really know. I think that he was out on probation. He had gotten like a split sentence deal where he did, half his time in and half his time out. And he may have violated with a new charge, a drug charge, but I'm not 100% about that.
You just know he just disappeared.
Yeah.
How long? I mean, have you talked to him since? Did you ever hear from him again, or? mean, that doesn't sound like a yes.
No, I don't think I
If-
have spoke to him since. Like, there was a time where that we had this court thing over the kids,
Right.
but I didn't even speak to him then because he was on the phone in the courtroom because he was in jail.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. So you start. So you, yeah, that didn't work out.
No, thank God.
Right. And I mean, so you're selling drugs out of
My dad's
your
house.
poor father's house.
My poor dad.
Your dad.
We put him through it.
I mean,
Oh man, he's tough.
yeah, yeah. Oh, jeez. So, all right. Then what happened? So, what's the next major?
So the next major thing is I met Joey,
Right.
and
We're going with Joey.
we are going with Joey
Yeah.
because
Because it's better.
it's better.
Yeah. So you start seeing Joey and you get pregnant.
I do. I get pregnant again, and the same thing happens. He ends up getting in trouble and going to prison when I was 3 months pregnant.
So how long did you date him?
Only
Very briefly.
Yes.
Until you get pregnant right away. 3 months later, boom, he's
Yep,
gone.
and that's it.
And how long was he?
In prison.
A few years.
Yeah.
Several years, right?
Several years.
because we talked about this because up until your indictment. So
Yes, he was still in.
all right. So you end up having, right? Okay. You end up having the baby, right? Mm-hmm. So, and you're still in Okeechobee?
I'm still at my dad's.
In Okeechobee.
Yes, in Okeechobee.
Wow.
I love you, Dad.
He's gonna be like, that's my daughter.
Oh God, so
like-
proud,
like
so
that's-
proud.
What's happening? Okay. All right. I have to stop saying
I'm saying a lot too. It's okay.
Yeah. Do we have that software? Are you using that software or we're not? We're just going with the ums.
Whatever.
You have software for that?
He's got some. Did you figure out the software? Or, yeah, he can run it through a software where they eliminate like
Gaps.
yeah,
You know,
gaps.
Like long gaps and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, so it ends up being a much
like
more
that.
fast paced. Bop, 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 bop. You can speed it up and slow it down, right? Because you speed it up, it seems too unnatural.
Right.
It's like dot. It's ridiculous. Regardless, I just did it again.
It's fine.
I don't care. Well, now you got me thinking I'm
I
need to
know.
be better.
Infection rule number 10.
Nice. 48 laws, bro. All right.
You like that,
I
huh?
like that. You're still selling drugs
I'm
out of
still
Dad's
selling-
house.
Out of my dad's house.
Good old Dad.
Good old Dad.
And what? So I mean, but really, this is the case that you're on. Like you've never been arrested,
Right, never.
You've been selling drugs, but you've never been arrested.
Nope, never.
So it's working good.
Yes.
And at this point, you're basically enters your two main sources. You have one main source at this point, which is
Wild man.
Wild Man, but you got no real support. I mean, Johnny Buck, he's helping with Mary Shelley,
Right.
But you've got 3 kids to take care of,
Mm-hmm.
not a whole bunch of support, and you're selling drugs to make ends meet,
Mm-hmm.
and wild. So who's Wild Man? This is like a conspiracy. This is the actual crime. This is the actual case, what you went to prison for. So who's Wild Man?
So Wild Man is he's a good old boy. He was a trucker. Sure, that's how he kind of got into it. I met him through a mutual friend, and that's how I got turned on to him.
Right.
He was basically supplying, I want to say, most of like the Tri-County, if not more, South Florida.
With meth.
With meth, yes.
Right. All right. And so you're going to him.
Right. He's all over the place, and he's not real reliable.
Right.
So I met another guy named Jose that was through the cartel, and started getting it from him. when I couldn't get it from Wildman.
How'd you met him through what?
A mutual friend. We were actually at the store, saw each other at the store. We pulled over on the side of the road and spoke, and it was, he knows I do what I do. So he's like, hey, check this out. Bam, he shows me a key of meth. And I was like, hey, come to my house, let's talk.
And Jose was what? He just gotten out of prison,
He
right?
did. He had just gotten out of prison, I think for selling meth. Not real sure.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's not going to correct you.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Let's go with meth.
I don't think he's ever getting out.
Jeez. So, all right. So you go there, and he wants you to basically start help get rid of.
Yes, start pushing dope.
Right. So you've got Wildman and you've got Jose. And
Right.
these are the two suppliers, and they're getting their stuff from. Well, Jose's getting it directly from the cartel, and Wildman, where's he getting his stuff from?
I know we have went to Polk County to pick it up.
Right.
I don't know
What did the
past that.
What did the indictment say?
The indictment said Mexico from the cartel.
Right. But they have photos of you
Yes, meeting this guy in Polk County
with Wildman.
with Wildman.
So at this point, you're supporting your kids. You're moving more and more product.
Right. It's not really the nickel and dime. I am going, from them and moving it in bulk, so that way I don't have to deal with, all the,
Riffraff.
yeah, so to speak, just one or two people and you're good. So you either have your cowboy, he needs to go all the time, your good old boy, it's him that wants it, or you have your gangsters,
Right. What was it? What was the saying you said?
50% wood and 50% hood. I got to do that again.
So,
So it was 50% hood and 50% wood.
all right.
We were selling too.
And so what's a typical day? So first of all, how long does this go on?
This goes on for 2 years, maybe.
How long was the
The
task force?
The investigation.
Yeah.
30 months.
30 months.
Mm-hmm.
So over 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's a typical day like for you waking up? You're not surfing. You're not a Florida girl surfing.
No, definitely not. We would get up, we'd get high, we'd try to figure out something to do. We would either go work on something or go hunting.
Hunting, fishing.
Hunting, fishing, loving every day.
And then what? So when are the drug dealers? When are the drug deals happening?
In between,
You get a
it all
phone
happens.
call.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, assume you don't know. Assume that you're talking to a cashier at Walmart right now. I know how it works.
Okay.
I'm saying what's the process? You get a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says something. You
Yeah.
ship it FedEx. They go through the website.
We tried that, but that's federal. So
It was federal anyway. So what happens? So what's the typical?
So yeah, you just, people call and you answer the calls.
They say, hey,
I need some shit.
right, I got this much money.
You in town?
And then you meet them somewhere, you drop it off, you pick up some money. Okay.
What, babe?
Skim right over details. And
Sorry,
it's
I'm
fine.
not good at it.
It's fine. All right.
What details?
No, details. I am just wondering,
That's why you're here.
I know. I'm just wondering, to me, it's I would give an example. I would say, Jim calls up and says, hey, I need, what does he say? I need some shit. If you say I need some shit, I could show up with half a key. Oh no, bro, I only got $100. I only needed a couple of, to me, is there a code? Is there, is there something you drop it off here? He gives you the money here, or do you just go and you go straight to the guy's house? You knock on the door and say, hey, here's what I got. How's it typically work is what I'm wondering.
Well, the people that, I try to stick to the same people that I've
you have a
dealt
routine.
with. Yes. And if I've met you here at your house or we've met here, that's what we would do. Not change things up.
Okay. Well, I knew a guy named Christopher Doyle. He would have people come to his house. He said, because if I go to your house, He said, I don't know whether there's cameras there, he said, I can't search your entire house. He goes, I would have people come to hit my apartment. He said, they'd come to my apartment. And he would say, listen, bro, he'd say, listen, I know we know each other, but people get busted, and the fact is who knows? He goes, so I'm gonna disrobe, and you're gonna disrobe. He goes, and I'd strip down, like I'd have the guy strip down to his underwear. We'd strip down to our underwear, and we'd walk around, and we'd walk in the other room and have a conversation. And I'd say, hey, go get the stuff. It's over there. Pick it up. Leave the money over here.
Wow.
Oh, he had a whole thing, and he drove the cops. They told him when they called, they said, you drove us nuts.
Seriously, they couldn't get him because of that?
They eventually did get him.
Right.
They eventually busted him.
Eventually get everybody.
Right. But let's face it, instead of a month-long investigation,
right?
People don't realize, like, well, what it takes so long for? Because it's not, anybody can wire somebody up and walk in and make a drug deal. Boom, I got you. You're done.
Yep.
Now I can turn you into a cooperating witness. You give me your other people. But people start making attempts to get around things, and now they've got problems because the guy's like, hey, okay, we're going to wire you up. No, you can't wire me. Why? This guy has me stripped down in my underwear every single time and walk into another room.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you got to get him to meet you somewhere where we have the car. He won't do that. Okay, well, then they start coming up with all the scenarios where they can get him on tape somehow.
Yeah.
And he can't. He's got him beat.
Yep.
So now what are they doing? Now they have to follow him 24 hours a day to find out where he's getting his drugs so that they can get him in transit. And he was like, but I didn't do that. What I did was he had all so his investigation went on for years and years and years. And when they got him,
Just trying to get that little bit.
even when he cooperated, they slammed him.
They were mad at him.
Furious. Because, it becomes sophisticated means. And that's an enhancement.
I think they enjoy it.
What?
The chase.
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes maybe they think it's fun. Some of them are just I like the cops that are just, it's just their job. It's like the COs. I like the guys that's like, listen, man, this is just my job. Like, I just going through the motions. It's those cops that really enjoy it. That
This is my life.
right. Then they just become dicks.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's your life to kind of put together the case, but not to try and go out of your way to make up charges and plant evidence. And
Right.
that's when they get nuts. Suddenly they start stacking up stuff. And you're like, well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. The only way to really get around it is to go to trial. You go to trial and you're going to lose because I'm still guilty. Go to trial and you lose. Now you get 25 years.
Right.
Or you take 10 years of stuff you're still not guilty of. But your only other choice is to take the 10 years. So anyway, sorry. So who's helping you supply the Woods and the Hood? Who's helping you supply them? Like, what are these other people involved in this conspiracy? I mean, there's like 60 people. There's over 60 people. There's over 60 people on your conspiracy.
Right. There's 60 people, but there were 45 that went state for the RICO Act, and there were 15 that went fed. Everybody on the indictment, I knew and dealt with them. All but two.
Is there anything interesting about, like, look, listen, I know one of your co-defendants was dating a trooper. Or not trooper, who was she dating?
A cop, the sheriff, the county sheriff.
Right.
Yeah, they actually have
Felicia.
Felicia.
Right. Felicia's dating a sheriff. What?
Nothing.
She's on an indictment.
Okay, yeah, I know.
Like she's gonna be offended.
She's definitely no. You can't do anything else.
No, she's on a 60-man indictment for conspiracy. She went to prison. She's good. The cop ended up what? Or the sheriff, the deputy. He's a sheriff's deputy, or he's not the sheriff. He's not the sheriff. He's a sheriff's deputy.
The sheriff.
Right.
He ended up resigning because they have the photos of Wild Man, the big guy, and his cruiser parked side by side. So they think that he's feeding him intel and hey, we're doing this, we're doing that to keep him safe.
But he's not.
And the truth is the cop was probably the most straight cop on the force, like 30-month investigation, and he never knew the whole time. They never told him because they thought he was a part of it. When he was like
He's just a straight-laced cop
Yes.
dating this chick that he doesn't know is also a drug dealer.
Right.
Well, okay. Look. And what about okay, sorry. Jetta.
Jetta, I met Jetta through Wildman. He was living with her.
What was Wild Man like?
I told you that already, didn't I?
You
what
said he was a
on.
trucker. Did he stutter?
He did stutter.
You said he always wore overalls?
He did. He
Kinda
always.
paint a picture here.
Okay.
We got an overall, a stuttering overall ex-trucker who sells meth,
Right. So.
who's supplying almost the whole county, but doesn't even really have a residence. Like he's basically sleeping at other people's house. He's like almost like a transient, but he's supplying how many counties?
5 counties at least.
Right. So I find that interesting.
It is interesting.
It is. It reminds me of one of the characters in like what is his name? Jack Dawsey. Oh wait, what's his name? Tim Hyacinth book, like a Tim Hyacinth book.
Yeah.
Oh, Carl. Sorry, you know what it is? Carl Hyacinth. Yeah, Carl Hyacinth. It reminds me of one of the characters in a Carl Hyacinth book where he's like this ex-governor that's just kind of a transient. He just lives in different houses and lives in the woods and does all these different things. It's just an insane thing for people to think of. This guy is supplying a ton of methamphetamine to all these counties. And
Living
yet
in someone's spare room.
He's living in someone's spare room, sleeping on the couch, sleeping out in the woods. Didn't you say you guys slept in the woods one time? Was that it? No? You can say no.
I don't think so. I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, like I was just saying, who are some of these other characters? Like you got. Plus, there's all these women. Like out of 60 people, you said half of them were women.
Right. Most of them, yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. People don't think of women as being meth dealers.
Okay.
So I find that interesting.
Well, I mean, it's really only the 15. The 15 are the dealers. The other 45 are the RICO Act. They were just lower level
Dealers. They're still dealers.
users, dealers.
Well, they don't really indict people on RICO for being addicts.
I guess you're right.
They're like, it's. I love the when I meet somebody, you're like, so you went to prison? What for? Oh, I'm a drug addict. Really? Your indictment said that they indicted you because you were a drug addict?
Yeah.
Then they end up going, well, no, I was indicted for distribution of meth. So you're saying it's a mistake? Well, no, I was selling meth, but it's because I was a drug addict that I was selling meth. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it. I know why you're justifying it in your mind, but the truth is you're a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
You were indicted for being a drug dealer, and if there was no evidence that you were a drug dealer, you would have gone to trial and win. Because the truth is you're a drug. That's like me saying, no, why did you go to prison, Matt? Well, I'm just greedy. I just need money.
Right.
Did you commit fraud to get the money? Yeah, I guess yeah. Stop. You're a fraudster. You were committing fraud. You committed bank fraud. Why did I do it? Because I'm greedy. I needed the money.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. Just wanted to quickly let you guys know that other than doing YouTube, I also paint for a living, and want to let you know that all of my paintings are available. All of these are modified screen prints. They're all individual. They're all unique. Not one of them is alike. I paint in skulls and crossbones. Sometimes I paint in hearts or X's or whatever. The starting price is $2.95. That includes shipping anywhere in the continental United States. I'm going to leave my contact information, my email address in the description, and back to the video.
Here's my question to you.
Okay.
You just continued to sell drugs. Yeah, you just continued to sell drugs, and nothing ever happened. It was a really flawless type situation, or were there anything crazy happen? Anything?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're always on the move. You're always trying to stay one step ahead of the cops. There were one night we were out on the boat gigging frogs.
Gigging frogs.
Gigging frogs.
Tell me what is gigging frogs? Because until you told me, I'd heard the term.
Yeah.
And I never once knew what it was.
You heard it in a country song?
I heard it in a country song. What was the name? Who was
Big
it?
and Rich.
Big and Rich.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd heard it in a country song, but I'd never actually
Can you sing that line for me?
no. But I never actually knew what gigging frogs meant. So what does that mean?
Okay, so there's this. It's called a gig. It's a long pole with like a spear on it,
Right.
and you're
Oh,
going.
they got two things?
Yeah,
I've seen
sometimes
those.
3.
Okay.
Right, and you're going out, and you have this headlight
At night?
at night. You have to do it at night. The headlight reflects their eyes, and you see them, and you just put them in the sack.
So you just go through and stop.
Yep,
What are you in? What kind of boat?
airboat,
Airboat, of course.
of course.
We should show an airboat.
I have.
Can you show?
I have. Okay, I was gonna say I have
Can
photos.
you show a picture of an airboat?
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I wouldn't be shocked. Sorry,
Some people didn't know what it
I
was.
would not be shocked if people didn't know what an airboat is. Okay, so on an airboat hull or whatever, and they just boom, and it's like the propeller. There's no propeller in the water. It's
pushing air. It's like an
It just
airplane.
blows and
Hence airboat.
shoots you through the water.
Right.
Super cool. So
Yeah.
you're out there gigging frogs in the middle of the night,
Right.
with another drug.
With
another
a couple friends.
couple friends.
Yeah.
One of them was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, we're all drug dealers.
We're all joy.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say.
So you're hanging out with some drug dealers on a boat, gigging frogs, because that's what a normal person does. Of course you do.
It was normal to me.
Okay. So you're out doing that, and what happens?
We had stopped and shut the motor off to get high.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
You got to get high out on the water.
Right.
Gigging frogs.
Right. Just smoking some dope.
Just smoking some dope.
Wow. What's so funny?
Stop it.
What's so funny is like how these conversations, like I don't bat an eye when we have them, or like me and the other people that I interview, like we'll have a normal conversation, like, oh, what was happening? Oh, we were doing this and this, and that, we just robbed this bank, and so we would come out and we were counting up the money, and we're this and that, and they say it so calmly and everything, and then when you say, bro, we got to talk about this on the podcast, they're like, why? Like what? Like they don't think it's interesting at all. Mm-hmm. You just had a conversation about counting up money while you were watching the movie Blow, just 20 minutes after you'd robbed the bank.
Right.
Your girlfriend called, you got into a huge fight on the phone. You go through this whole story and they think it's nothing. And you have no idea that some kid who works selling insurance is fascinated by that. Mm-hmm. Like the normal conversations I have with people, other people will just stand there and stare and be like, oh my God.
What?
And then they'll tell, remember the woman we met the other day? When we met at the coffee shop?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh my gosh, when this happened and when this happened, when that, like
Oh,
she
yeah.
knows it, the story inside and out. Because to her, she's a regular upper middle class conservative mom that never had anything like that happen. So to her, those stories are fascinating. But to us, they're just like, that was a normal Tuesday. So anyway, gigging frogs, getting high, shut off the boat.
And we're sitting there, we're getting high, and all of a sudden this beam, boom, hits the boat. It's the feds.
Right.
So
They were out there tracking you guys on an airboat.
Yes. So the driver hits the gas, and we swerving through. They have islands out in the lake, little
Lake
islands.
Okeechobee.
Lake Okeechobee, yes. And we lose them. We hide in a little bunny bungalow. I know you don't know what that is
know what
either.
that is. Yeah.
It's just a name for the island.
Okay.
And wait them out.
You said you could hear the.
Oh yeah, you could hear him. You shut off. You're real quiet. All lights are out. He actually has a switch specifically for that. Like if somebody's chasing you, you hit the switch and all the lights go out. Can't be seen. So you could hear them in the background. Wow, and they'd stop and listen, trying to hear our boat, and then nothing. So, wow, yeah.
And water carries across. I mean, sound carries across the water. They could be 50 feet. They could be 400 feet.
Right.
Half a mile.
You hear frogs and fish splashing, but a motor you're gonna hear.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen. I mean, Lake Okeechobee is fucking massive.
It is big.
It's huge. Anybody who's ever seen Florida, they immediately boom. It's that big dot.
right
There's
in
that big lake in the lower left-hand corner. Lower left-hand. I guess it's from however you're looking, whatever.
Yeah.
Lower corner, right? Or is it in the middle?
It's in the middle. It's right
pretty
in the
much in the
middle.
middle. But it's lower. It's in the lower part of Florida.
Oh yeah, South Florida.
South Florida. Okay. All right, cool. So what else happened? Anything else? I know there's car chases. I know I've heard this.
Yeah, there were a few more car chases. There were probably 4 or 5 of us coming back from picking up some stuff, some dope. I'm gonna say dope. And so we're on these back roads, cutting back to we weren't in Okeechobee, we were in Glades County. And coming up, there's one car coming. It's a cop, and he turns around, he fishtails, and he's coming after us. I'm driving at this point, so
What
I hit.
were you driving?
I was driving an old red Ford.
Oh,
It's
what
an old
happened? You had
pickup
the big
truck.
What happened to the 4x4? Johnny Buck told me about the 4x4.
Oh,
that
my
she
truck!
loved.
I do love that truck.
So what?
It's an
was it-
F-250 Ranger with a 460 big block in it. Oh my god! With 33-inch tires. I love that truck.
So what? Okay, so what? So yeah, but it wasn't that truck. It
No, it wasn't that truck.
was a red
That
truck.
was my baby.
Okay.
It was, yeah. Just a red, old, beat up Ford.
So the cop fishtails.
Fishtails. I hit the gas, and I'm looking for somewhere to cut off, run from them, hide. So there's an orange grove around the corner, and I cut off in the orange grove, almost go into the ditch. Anyways, go to the back, put it in park, and everybody just scatters. And the same thing, you go out, you listen, you can hear, because there's nothing out there. You listen for their car, and eventually they just call it off.
All right.
So
What else? What's the next one?
the next car chase.
The next car chase.
The same thing. We actually, did we go? It doesn't matter. We were coming back from dropping off some stuff, some dope. And we passed this state trooper sitting in the middle of the road, and he comes out behind us and hits his lights. And I remember thinking, what if that was my first chase? I remember thinking, oh God, this is it. It's over. I'd never been to jail, never, been in trouble. And he hits the gas. We're going 100, 110, swerving, going through these cars, and he just stops. He turns his lights off, and that's it. We're still hauling ass. We get to his friend's house to hide out.
Why'd they call it off?
I found out later in the report, when I read the report, because I had got arrested that next morning, that so we didn't endanger anybody's lives.
Right.
Because
Okay.
we were weaving through traffic and trying to get away, so we didn't endanger anybody. They called off the chase. But it turns out the next morning?
Yeah.
Okay, so the house that we were hiding out at, the next morning they kicked in the door and arrested us all.
They kicked in the door and then gently asked everybody. They
Can you
screamed.
please come out here? We have something that we want to talk to you about.
So what happened? They kick in the door.
What do
They
you-
kick in the door and said, "Please come out," or they kick in the door with
No, they-
guns blazing and fucking get
Oh,
on the ground and the whole thing.
So
like,
I think that there were a few of them. They were smoking pot, so you smell weed,
right.
and they bam bam bam. I don't know what county we were in. Sheriff's Department, open up, and everybody scatters. The one guy acts like he's sleeping. I'm sitting on the couch, and the other guy's in the back room. Sorry. And yeah, no, they get out here. I don't know. It wasn't very interesting, baby.
It doesn't matter. So
Okay. Mm-hmm.
they get out here, they get you out, they put you on the ground, they handcuff everybody. And listen, I've been arrested a few times.
Have you?
Hey, fuck yeah. Never one time did they ever knock on the door and ask me to come out and please politely.
Do they do that?
Go ahead and turn around and let me put, like, you ever seen that one where you're watching TV and they're like, turn around, man, every time it's get on the ground. God, they put their knee in your back, they clamp the cuff, they yank your ass up. It's like, fucking bro. Like, I'm here for a fucking bank fraud.
No,
what
they
are
don't
you
play.
doing? Like, this is insane. I'm not dangerous. You
Can't tell
guys
them
are-
that, though.
right, you're getting the door kicked in.
Yes.
Get out here. Get on the. I mean, is that what's happening? That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah, that happens every time. That happened when
Right,
I got
but-
indicted.
You understand? The insurance salesman agent
Okay.
doesn't know that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
So yeah, stop it. Get out here. So I go out. I'm in compliance. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm coming out. They've drugged the other guy out because he was asleep. The other two guys, they pull us out. They separate us. They handcuff us. You're going to jail. Blah, blah. They didn't ask me any questions like there. They just took us all to jail.
Right.
Which I didn't know I was going to be indicted then. It was like 2 days before I got indicted.
Right. Well, this is just for the car chase.
Right. This is just for. But I was gonna say
Just for the car chase.
that
But there was, but
that
when
I didn't know they were following me because of the investigation.
right.
I don't,
No, I get it.
okay.
So they find any drugs in the house, or
They did.